So everyone, welcome to this video where I talk about my thoughts and feelings about this game, whilst also talking about this game just in general. Okay, so, I believe that most of you are here to hear my thoughts on the game and the ending, right? Well, for those of you who have not seen the ending, obviously, extreme spoilers will be talked about and shown, so I highly recommend you, or encourage you even, to either play the game yourself or watch someone else play it. I recommend playing it yourself, as that is the best experience you'll probably get. That being said, here we go! Actually wait, before we go straight into it, I just want to mention that I will be talking about my thoughts first of all, but then I will watch someone's video on the ending and then see if my thoughts change or improve, or are still the same. Okay, so, talking about my current thoughts. I personally don't really know what to think about the ending. All I can really think of is it wasn't really Sunny's fault, because it seems like he accidentally pushed Mary. Wait, why the hell did I write down Mark first of all? What the fuck? Anyway, it seems like Sunny pushed Mary down the stairs because of a tiny fight that they got into at the top of the stairs. But what confuses me is that her dead body on the bed? Or is that her unconscious body on the bed? If that's her dead body, then did Basil drag her to be noosed up? I don't think Basil would do such a thing. So it has to be down to being possessed, right? I mean, I've been told that Basil's role is a significantly large piece of the puzzle, but all I can think of is he's just the best friend to Omori or Sunny, and he just loves taking pictures to keep those memories forever. This is kind of why I need to look at that video to really understand what the fuck is happening. So, I guess it just makes sense when Basil keeps asking for forgiveness out of Omori or Sunny. I mean, should I just keep saying Omori? As far as I understand, that name is just a headspace persona to be a derivative of Hikikomori and is the subject of being alone in your residence, just dreaming about the good times. Anyway, the interaction between Sunny and Basil was quite the interesting one, as when it asked me if I wanted to save Basil, like, of course I would! But then, Sunny does his thing and does the complete opposite. It reminds me a little of Deltarune, where you're not always in control of your character, and that's something I've found kind of fascinating. Because, what does your character do without your control? Okay, so let's just go back to the forgiveness part. So, Basil wants our forgiveness because he murdered Mary? But then he stated that he covered it up for our sakes, so I'm saying that we did kill Mary then, right? I mean, that's the part that was pretty obvious from the images that we saw, although lack of description. The part that confuses me, though, is the news part. Because if Mary was unconscious, then why did she do it? Was it because her musical instrument broke? And she just got into a depressed state and just decided to end it? Okay, now, let's just talk a little bit about Basil's line in relation to everything is okay, or everything will be okay. You know, I think this is just a coping mechanism for something, like, he didn't do. Again, I'm gonna have to look up a video to help me to try and understand any of this. The thing is though, from what I understand, the thing that maybe possessed Basil was Mary? Like, the ghost of Mary? I'm genuinely so fucking confused about this, I fucking swear to God. Okay! So I have watched a video on someone talking about it, And no, it wasn't a video explaining the events, but more so someone talking about their own thoughts on the events. Now, before I continue on with what I learned and how this may or may not affect my thoughts, I just want to clearly state that it was pretty difficult to properly comprehend what was happening around me. Because the game mostly consisted of 2D sprites, it wasn't exactly easy to get sucked into the world of Omori. Plus, all I could see was the game side of it, and the horror and unsettling factor as well. Because I got too into the horror side, I didn't think of what it could mean for any of the characters. So it was a bit difficult to see this as like a realistic world, as I've said, they are mainly 2D pixelated sprites with the odd full body image here and there. So that being said, I wasn't aware that the violin that got broken was Sunny's. It's weird how I get the truth revealed to me and get confused and then find out whose violin it is, but I can't piece it together. Even just thinking about it right now, I hate the fact that I just wanted to get to the ending because of so many people saying how emotional it was and stuff. I kept telling myself that I didn't really care how far away I was from the ending, but I think I knew deep down that I still cared. I still cared so much so that I just focused on moving on and not pausing to think, even for a couple of minutes, about anything. Anywho, what I learned was Sunny may not have liked playing the violin, and so threw it to the ground, and Mary got upset with Sunny, only for them to get into a fight and ended up in Mary getting pushed down the stairs accidentally, and then she landed on the violin. Basil found out, and they staged her death and made it look like suicide. I do wish there were descriptions for those photos, but for some reason they were cut from the game, well, according to a friend of mine at least. So, what I initially thought is still my thought, to be fair, that it was an accident, and Sunny is just trying to come to terms with her death. I don't particularly know why I thought she may be unconscious. I just kind of assumed that to fall down the stairs, it can't be that severe, right? But no, she did, of course, die from that. Now, before I try to wrap this video up, I just wanted to point out that I struggle a lot with analytical thinking into characters and their motivations and depths. I'm more of a show don't tell sort of person, so if someone tells me something about that character that I didn't really ask about in the first place, I'm just going to completely ignore it. But that's not really my intention at all, it's just what my brain does for some reason. I mean, if I care about a character and I get confused about that character, I will want to find out more about what's happening and or what's happened about that character. And unfortunately, I struggled and failed to do that for this game. From reading some comments that people have shared on the game, it seems that this is the type of game that kind of requires a second playthrough, I guess, to fully get a grasp on the story. If that's the case, then that kind of does ease me a little, because it means I don't totally fail in understanding what the fuck happened. I know that you guys will say that I didn't fail whatsoever, and I appreciate you guys for lending me that bit of support. But I don't think it will stop me from feeling that bit of failure though. But I'm very, very glad that I got this bit of clarity though. So, now that I've talked about what happened and my thoughts about it, even though I heard someone else's thoughts, it didn't really change my own. Even though I learned a little bit more about what happened, my thoughts were still roughly the same. But now that I have expressed my thoughts, I think it's time to move on and talk about other things in the game that happened. First thing I wanted to talk about, or rather, second thing, that is how you are not always in control of your character, Omori, or Sunny. It kind of reminds me of Deltarune or Undertale in a way. Well, actually, more Deltarune, because, spoilers, I guess. Your character does things without your control and makes you question what they're doing. I can't really say that about Undertale though. I mean, they do the same thing, but that's in the genocide route and not exactly on the normal route like Deltarune. In Omori, you have the option to save Basil, and of course you would say yes. Who the fuck wouldn't, man? But of course, Omori, or Sunny, decides to end Basil instead of saving him. So my interpretation into this is that Sunny doesn't want to remember the terrible thing that both he and Basil did. So instead of saving his friend, he tries to erase him. Also, that fight with Omori and Sunny, I suppose that's Omori telling ourselves that we are worthless because of what we did and the lies we are telling our friends. Because Sunny still thinks it is his fault, all his fault, that Mary died. But of course, we as a viewer of this think it's an accident. Well, I think most people do anyway. Okay, so now that I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about within the story of the game, I think it is now time to move on to talk about just the game itself. So, for those that came here for my thoughts on the story, you can leave now. So, you can leave the video now if you so wish. Okay, so, I don't know if this has been really apparent throughout my playthrough of the game, but I have loved this game, and I have enjoyed most of this game. I think the parts that I have enjoyed the most are the creepy parts of the game, and mostly because I get hooked on the darkness and the atmosphere, and when the game shows stuff, that's when it really gets to me. I think you guys could tell that I did struggle to read what I was reading, and not so much the reading out loud, but reading the words, what the words actually meant. I didn't take much time to pause and think about what the words actually mean, mainly because I tried to keep my sort of recordings not that long. But, I mean, would I have understood the game better if I didn't record my experience? It's likely. Do I regret recording the game?
Oh, hell no!
Fuck, absolutely not, no. I mean, one of the main reasons I kept going was because my friend kept recommending me to keep going because it gets better and better. And to be fair, they weren't wrong. The other reason I kept going was because this game was praised by a lot, and I mean a lot, of people. This game kind of reminds me of Silent Hill 2 in a way, because of how it analyses the character's depth and going into their psyche. Whilst Silent Hill 2 doesn't really speak to me, I think this game kinda did to an extent. I connected more with the characters, while still enjoying the horror elements, of course. Whilst I did enjoy the gameplay, the boss battles were quite frustrating at the beginning, but only because I didn't properly realise the emotion system and how that impacted the character's power and their attacks towards the enemy. At the beginning, I didn't think I needed the emotion system. I didn't think I needed to know about it, but how wrong I was in that department. This is the thing with recording games. I worry so much about how long the video is, and I don't really take a second to pause and think about what I received. I just keep moving on and on and on and on to the next stage. I mean, it's not really a bad thing per se, but I do need to try and work on pausing for a moment, just for a fucking moment, to think about what information I've received. In a way, playing Omori has taught me to try and slow down with thinking things through, and not constantly moving to the next stage all the fucking time. So, I really gotta thank Omori for that. And I really gotta thank my friend for recommending it to me as well. Okay, so, technically we are at the end of the video, so if you were here to just hear my thoughts on the game as a whole, then you can leave, if you so wish to. Although, since Omori has had some impact on me, I wanted to show this in a little video I made, so here it is. Okay, everybody, so that has been the video that I showed you, and yes, I'm going a little bit off script now. So I really hope that you have all enjoyed that video of me going through my thoughts, and I will admit it's taken me a very, very long time to get through this, and this video is certainly going to come out a long time after my Omori ending finale video thing, only because one, the video that I just showed you of that sort of Omori sort of house showcase sort of thing, that thing took me a very, very long time to make, and I wanted to not to be completely perfect, but I wanted to be like happy with it, and I'm so glad that I'm happy with it. But the editing of this video is going to probably take a little bit longer, so again, this video will be out a long time after the finale, but it doesn't matter. What matters is I have finally done this video. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have all enjoyed this singular video, and I really hope that you enjoyed my Omori playthrough. I know that I'm aware that there have been other playthroughs by other people playing Omori that are very, very likely to be so much more better than mine. I don't care about that. I do not care if someone's playthrough is more thought out or better in another regard. What matters to me is my own enjoyment of the game. So even if I didn't really think things through when playing through the game, and I think some people may have picked up on that, even if that's the case, what matters is that I really, really enjoyed the game for what it is and how much it impacted me. I mean, not only did the game impact me, but the people around me that were talking about the game that also impacted me as well. So again, thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. And because of playing Omori, I've felt a bit more comfortable with how I make videos now, because I used to sort of worry so much about, oh, what if people don't watch this, or what if people don't watch that. But nowadays I don't really think about that anymore. I just sort of make my videos, and if people watch them, cool. If they don't, then you know, the video is there for you to watch. So, but yes, the video is now going to end, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you have all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.